Hey folks, Brian Simmons here with Career Intellect. Today I want to talk to you about something that a lot of job seekers deal with, and that is, why didn't I get the job? So when we are denied for a job, we hardly ever get feedback, even if you make it all the way to the interview. But that doesn't really help you understand exactly what went wrong and what you could do better next time. So hopefully in this video, I'll help you clear up some of those questions for you. So based on my experience, I'd like to give you some of the main reasons that I experienced why people are not getting jobs. So the first reason has to do with your resume. There's a good possibility that your resume is not relevant to the job that you applied to. Even though you're in the same industry, it's a similar role, if you don't tailor that resume to that job, it's not going to get the right attention. You probably applied and you never made it past the applicant tracking system. This is very common. We are so focused on making our resumes complete that we hardly ever tailor them to make them relevant to this particular job. The ATS and the recruiter and the hiring manager are all looking for specific keywords in your resume that make them grab your resume, pull it out of the pile, put it on the yes pile, or at least the maybe pile. If these keywords and phrases are not there, your resume is going in the no pile, in the garbage. Typically what your resume consists of are all of your accomplishments and your responsibilities for your old jobs. Well, these are not going to relate exactly to what you applied to. So there are a couple steps that you can take to make sure that your resume is relevant. The first thing you need to do is carefully review the job requirements for the job that you're applying to. The next thing you need to do is figure out where in your career you've used those same skills that are relevant to this new job. You'll take those accomplishments for each one of those jobs and add them to a bullet on your for your accomplishment bullets on your resume. Each bullet should tie closely to what you're going to be doing in this new role. That's the first thing that you can do to ensure your resume makes it past all of those barriers and gets into somebody's hand when you get a call back. The second reason why you didn't get the job is you need to improve your interview skills. So this applies to people who have actually made it through all of those steps and they're actually preparing to go in for an interview. Look, interviewing is not easy. It's not something that we practice on a daily basis, but it's something that is very hard to do, especially hard to do well, and because you don't get a lot of practice, it's hard to master. In particular, there is one area where I've seen candidates struggle the most. Now this will usually take the form of the question, tell me about yourself, or talk to me about your previous experience. This is a place where the interviewer gives you a chance to sort of talk about you and tell them your story. This is a place in the interview that you absolutely want to capitalize on. If you fail at this point, you will probably not make it through to the next step. So this is usually one of the first questions that is asked of you at the interview. And some people are kind of confused. They don't know, are asking about you as a person, or if this is just your professional life, so you kind of stammer a little bit because you're not sure which direction to go with this answer. What they're really wanting to know is how well you are fit for this job. They want to hear your story, period. So before the interview, you need to take the time to construct exactly what your answer is going to be, and you need to practice it over and over again. Your entire answer should take about 3 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. You don't want to go on and on during this process. So what you want to do is walk the interview through each job you've had step by step, but you absolutely want to be sure to tie all your previous experience into what the requirements are of the new role, which means you can't just tell them everything that you used to do. Focus on just giving them the things that are the most relevant to this new job. That way, you sort of build your story as the perfect candidate for this new job. All they're going to hear are things that they do on a daily basis, or that they would like this person to be able to do, and this will make you stand out from the crowd. So the hardest thing to master is not to go on for too long. You have to tell your story, but your story has to be interesting. It has to keep their attention. You can't drone on to where they stop really focusing and thinking, why is this guy talking for so long? This is taking too long. The reason for that is the interviewer is not just judging you on your story, they're also judging you on your communication skills. How well can you come in and concisely communicate a point and talk to other people in that department or in a different group and be able to accomplish things well. The only way to get good at this is to practice it over and over again and you become comfortable with telling the story. It's almost like an elevator pitch. It needs to be timed, and it needs to be concise, and it needs to be well rehearsed. The last step for this video is you didn't get the job because of your competition. Now this is something that's kind of difficult for people to deal with because there's not much that you can do. Sometimes it's just not your fault. There are people who are more qualified and have taken all the right steps, have the right resume, done great on the interview, and everything. So if you and your best competition have written a great resume, had a great interview, and they have more experience, they just might get the job. There's nothing that you've done wrong, but it's just the fact that they found somebody who is even more qualified than you are. Now there is one thing that can help you during this process, and that's timing. If you apply for a job within 3 days of that job being posted, your chances of getting that job increase by 75%. So what that means is that if you're looking for a job in a particular company, you need to check that job board every day. Every time something comes up that you're very interested in, you need to go ahead and fix your resume and put in the application. Don't apply for jobs that are 30, 40 days old. You can, but your chances of getting those jobs go down significantly after the first few days. So sometimes there's really just nothing that you can do. So don't give up, keep trying. There's always one more job post out there that's just right for you. So I hope you liked today's video. The full post is available at careerintellect.com. Go ahead and subscribe, and see you next time.